Agent LaGrasse, do you copy?
I copy.
Hello, and welcome to Cynic Critique, the show where we get real with cult films. I'm your host Bryan, and normally I'd be joined here with my brother and bro host Thomas, but unfortunately he wasn't able to make it for the first half. This podcast is brought to you by Resonance Ronin, broadcasting from outside the algorithm, spotlighting films worth fighting for. This week I'm diving deep with writer, director and actor Jason Trost to talk about his latest wild vision, The Waves of Madness. It was nice having him back after his episode back in January, and also stick around after the interview for a full review with Thomas. Hit the tape. It's nice for you to be here now.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Yeah, it's alright. Things happen, don't they?
Boy, do they. We're doing a renovation downstairs. I'm not in our apartment right now, so it's a whole kerfuffle.
Right.
On top of just, dealing with two movies at once. It's just too much.
Yeah, I bet. So we had you on the podcast, I think it was January this year?
Yeah, I mean, that's this year's blown by. That sounds about right.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, same here. So I was just wondering, do you want to catch us up on your time from then to now?
Oh, gosh. Well, I mean, from then to now, I've been going through being a publicist and releasing Waves of Madness, which has been a whole months and months and months long journey, and that's, coming to an end now. So, and during that period, I was like, I'll work on this little experimental thing, Afar. In the meantime, it's just by myself, and that won't be too much work. I can do that while I'm promoting a movie, and that's just kind of grown out of control and taken up a lot of time. Finally, almost done with that. I should be done with that about next month, and then I can start work on the sequel for The Waves of Madness. So it's been quite busy.
No, I bet. What's it like then, managing more than one project?
I mean, it's a lot like managing one project. Extremely time-consuming.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's that thing that they tell you when they're like, when people have one kid, and they're like, and you have two. It's like, whatever. It's just the same thing, right? Just another one. That's kind of how it feels.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't either, but that's what I hear. I guess I would know more if like having two animals. I have two animals. I understand that. But...
All right. What you got?
Well, I got a dog and a cat.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Do they get on?
Oh, yeah. They get on like a house on fire. They're best mates.
You got them both at a youngish age then?
Sorry?
You got them both when they were both quite young?
Yeah, actually. I guess our dog we got when she was about 11 months, and the cat we just got last year when he was 6 months, I think. So now he's like a year and a half. So.
All right. Because not always a good combo, is it? That dog and a cat.
Oh no, But she was about 8 when he came on the scene.
Oh right.
Because our old cat passed away, who she was used to. That she was here first before the dog, and then I guess she was still okay with cats. And
yeah,
this kitten really has the energy that she wants, and they just like wrestle around and do UFC playing. And he's like too crazy for her, and she's like, "Whoa."
Cats are mental, though.
Mm-hmm. Lots of parkour.
Yeah. Cats are mental. Their energy seems to come at the worst of times as well. All the ones that I've known of.
Oh yeah, no, always.
Just as you're about to get ready for bed, they decide it's playtime.
Oh, it doesn't matter. It's like they're always charging. They have like two modes. It's like, I'm so asleep I could never do anything, and then instantaneously they're the Energizer Bunny. So it's just, you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah, okay. I was just having a bit of a problem then with my computer.
Oh, yeah, no worries.
So, the Afar's a sequel to How to Save Us, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose. I mean, it's definitely set in the same world with, my character's the same, but, calling it a sequel is a bit of a stretch. I mean, it does take place later in the timeline in that world, so I guess technically it's a sequel, but it's, totally different as far as what it is, because it's an interactive movie and it's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
So, technically, yes, it's a sequel, but if you're expecting the exact same thing as the first movie, that you're 100% not going to get that, but there'll be some vibes that are similar.
Nice. I'm quite looking forward to it. Some of the stills that you've shared on your socials, beautiful light transitions in the sky and stuff.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I mean, it's finally coming to life. It's one of those things where I've just been assembling all the elements for so long.
Yeah.
That it's really cool to see it start to come to life.
Then can we go into that at all? More about it, about the multiple choice? Because you've put some demos out.
Yeah, and I've since redone a lot of that. But yeah, essentially there's going to be like 5 different endings.
Right.
Yeah, and there's like most scenes you have like 3 different paths you can take. So I wanted to make it only about 30 minutes long in one run, so that way if you go back and play it all the times and see all the things, it'll take you about 2 hours. So
yeah,
because I think the problem with a lot of these choose your own adventure things is it's such a commitment.
Yeah,
where you're like, man, I have to do 2 hours again. I don't know. That's a lot. It's a lot to ask for.
Yeah,
but otherwise, like you and some friends can have some drinks or whatever and hang out and like make a night of it and see everything there is if you want.
Yeah.
And, it's meant to be watched with people because it's like, what do we do? But, you don't really have the time limit of like the choices you can press pause and things like that. So, yeah, it's it's going to be a whole thing. And I have no idea if people will like it or if it's going to work, but I haven't really seen it before. So I'm excited in that respect.
I imagine that's your thing with every film you make, isn't it?
Yeah, I have no idea what's going to happen. You just got to put it out there and see where it goes.
What's it like then, writing a film that's got several routes to take compared to just one narrative line?
Very complicated because you have to. It's the thing that I ran into the most was the continuity elements because ultimately, like if you wanted to have any sort of story and not just totally get insane, like it has to like intercross and weave and things like that. So when you have these interweaving points, you have to write it in a way where it's like, okay, someone may have gotten a prop from another one of the choices, but we have to make it so that they either lose it or it gets put away or something like that because it can't come back in these interweaving points because then it messes up your continuity of the choices you might have picked. So it's like you just have to really be mindful about the choices being like more of like difference in experiences rather than difference in like, oh, he has the gun now. But then if you're in that point, you're like, why doesn't he use that? Well, it's like you might not have used that choice. You have to kind of, it's a whole thing. It's a lot of like,
yeah, attention to detail.
Yeah, I had to build like a whole strategy guide, like an Excel spreadsheet with the choices as I was writing it, just to make sure everything was coming to work, and also really helped in the editing process because I'm like, where the hell does this go?
So would you say this is one of your most challenging ones to have made?
Yeah, I mean, they're all the most challenging in their own way because I'm always doing something I haven't done before. But this one is just, it's both easier and harder in ways, because like you do have that freedom because you're like, I'll just do this instead. It's a different choice. Who cares?
Yeah.
So there's that fun, but then there's also like, but it still has to link up. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Like it's been both more and less work than I thought it would be. So there's that. And I have been doing this one entirely myself. So it's been like, that's been a challenge. Like press record on the camera and then running the frame.
Oh, wow.
Kind of vibe.
Yeah. One man guerrilla unit, is it?
Yeah, well, I had to. It's just because again, this was going to be my little side project while I was releasing Waves, and then it just, as everything I do does, it got very complicated. And I'm hiking down to the bottom of the rainforest, like valley with props and camera gear. I'm like, this was a choice.
But you enjoy it, it seems.
Yeah, as long as my knees can do it, I'm happy about it.
Well, it's getting to that bit now. Is it the knees?
Not yet. They're still good, but I know that that's going to be a thing at some point. It's going to creep up on me. I have to do. It's not like about vanity. I have to do like workout programs before I do these movies, just not to hurt myself, to make sure I have the stamina to do it, because they're quite physically intensive in odd ways. Like this sort of things where like, I don't know, like walking around with gear and stuff for 10 hours, you're like, that's not that heavy or this or that, but you do it enough and like you start getting older and you're like, ooh, you have to be really limber on these. Yeah. And like, I guess I have to do a stunt. I better not hurt myself, so I better have strength and all that. So that's a whole angle.
How much gear have you been carrying while you've been making Afar?
I mean, not that much. I mean, I guess like I'm trying to because I think in pounds, but you guys are in kilos, and so are we over here. So maybe, I mean, roughly like 10 kilos probably, which, isn't that much. Yeah. Because I tried to keep it down, like with props and everything. But like once you're hiking down and hiking around for hours, and you get in the humidity of the rainforest, it really catches up with you. Yeah, I can imagine. So there were some cheats I applied to not have to carry everything. But, we talk about that after you see it.
I imagine you're dragging it around on a sledge now, to be honest.
Yeah, it's some movie magic.
I'm looking forward to seeing this one, because How to Save Us is one of my favourites.
Oh, great. Well, yeah, I'm not, hopefully it just doesn't totally screw the first one over, but yeah, I think it's fun.
Nice. I had a question and I've lost it, because it wasn't one I've written down. Oh, yeah. Obviously, you said you've got your sequel to be working on next for Waves of Madness. Yeah. And obviously, for those that have seen the film, there is a post-credit scene, isn't there, that teases your sequel as well? There is. Cool. I'm assuming when you was writing Waves or filming it, you came up with this little extra bit after, or is the sequel what you wanted to do first and you wanted to find a way to get there?
No, it was kind of something I was coming up with whilst I was in post, because I knew that I always wanted this to be a franchise where It's just like a Brendan Fraser mummy type that instead of going after the mummy each time, you just go after a different monster. And I kind of started throwing around what that monster would be and things for the next one and what I wanted to do and what I had access to. And I'm like, well, I'm here in Sydney, so it'd be cool to do something in Sydney. That'd be interesting. And then I was reading Dracula, and then things just started coming together. And I've always wanted to make a Castlevania movie, so I was just like, what is my version of Castlevania? That's a good question. And I started spiraling from there, and now I'm making my version of Castlevania.
Oh, looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy. Like, if people think Waves is nuts, like, this one's like 10 times crazier.
Really?
At least the script, yeah. We'll see what happens when I get in there and make it. But as it stands, it's pretty nuts.
Okay. Do you mind if we just awkwardly transition into the questions I've got here?
Sure. Let's do it.
Okay. Waves of Madness feels like a leap and a throwback all at once. Was there a moment during production when you realized, oh shit, this is unlike anything I've done before?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was immediately upon, like, for a lot of reasons, but it was more of, like, the long takes. Because usually when you make these little movies, it's like, you know, I don't know. You'll spend, like, maybe a shot will end up in a movie for about 10 seconds or something. That's really long. But when you're doing a side-scrolling movie where it's all a fake one shot, you end up doing a lot of, like, 2.5-minute long takes. And that was a whole thing that I've never done before, where it felt a lot more like going back to the days of doing plays, because you're basically just doing a play in front of a green screen with things that don't exist. And that was a whole new thing to wrap my brain around. But yeah, once we did, the freedom of that was awesome, because you're just kind of like, as long as you're just doing it over there, whatever. And like, it was really refreshing not having to think of what the camera angle was going to be, because obviously there's one angle in the whole movie. It was like, wow, that's great. I can focus on all this other stuff. So I really enjoyed that in the end.
Yeah. You've cited Silent Hill, Resident Evil, Call of Cthulhu, and a game called Metal Slug, which I'm not actually familiar with. I'm curious how those actually bled into Waves.
You're not familiar with Metal Slug?
No, I'm not.
How are you not familiar with Metal Slug? Look at that wall behind you. Maybe it's more of an American thing, but it was like one of the most popular side-scrolling arcade multiplayer games.
Yeah.
Like, at least when I was growing up in the arcade. It's just, you're basically just a bunch of like, you know, 16-bit pixelated, it was Neo Geo, but like pixelated, like character guys running around and just blowing the shit out of, you know, bad guys. But it's like Contra, but kind of like Japanese goofy. It's like on Rambo take, but then there's like lots of stuff like monsters and zombies and aliens, and it's just insane. And you're like in mech suits, like it's just bananas.
I see why I like that.
So that's initially what I wanted to make, but I was just like, that is way too much for the first movie. That's going to be really hard to do. We'll get there eventually, but that's like number 10. That's not number 1.
So how did they like influence the story, the mood, the visuals, and how did you get in the headspace for figuring all that out?
Oh, wait, how did Metal Slug influence that?
And Resident Evil, Silent Hill, Call of Cthulhu.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I think it all kind of started with Metal Slug. So I was playing Metal Slug, and I was like, God, this would be a really fun challenge. How the hell would you do this? And I started going down the rabbit hole and developing that story, and I was like, this is awesome, but this is too much. I shouldn't start with this. So then I dialed it back, and I was reading Call of Cthulhu at the time, and I was like, this is really neat. I wonder where this is set. So then I punched in the coordinates that are actually in the book of like, where is Cthulhu in prison? And that led me to Point Nemo, which is the point of inaccessibility, like the spaceship graveyard, like out there in the middle of the ocean. I was like, this is a real place where they actually send down decommissioned satellites and space stations and things because it's so far away from any landmass that there's just nothing there. I was like, that's cool. And if I'm going to make a side-scrolling movie that all takes place in real time, it's going to have to be in like one set or one, like, you know, area, like a Resident Evil game, like with the mansion or the police station or something. But I'm like, how do I get something like that out there? And I was like, okay, cruise ship, of course, that checks out. I like Dead Rising, or Deep Rising. I like both those, actually. And I was like, all right, so maybe it's cruise ship. And then it just started going from there. And I was like, well, I guess, why wouldn't they try to summon Cthulhu on a cruise ship? That sounds about right. And then here we were. And it all went from there.
Okay. Just to follow on from that, actually, because I'm quite surprised. Last time you were on, and this time, you mentioned about reading Dracula, and now you're reading Call of Cthulhu.
Oh, no, I read Call of Cthulhu before Waves of Madness. Dracula is something I read after Waves.
Yeah, but I'm just curious, is with these that you've been reading, are people surprised that you read these books? Because they're not really something, from how you display yourself in your films and so on, they're not really something people would expect you to be reading, I don't feel. So does it surprise people when they find out that's what you've been reading? Or
I have no idea. I read all kinds of stuff, though, so I don't know. I have no idea. I just like what I like, and I've kind of gotten to this point with reading books where I stopped reading for a couple years, like,
yeah,
I don't know, I guess in like my early 30s or something. And then the pandemic hit, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to stop reading what I'm supposed to be reading. I'm just going to read whatever the hell I want. I don't care what it sounds like. The second it feels like homework, that book is
down.
It's gone. It's dead to me. I'm just going to read what I want. I don't care if it's like young adult novels. I don't care what it is. I'm just going to read it. And once I started doing that, I've just been having a blast just reading. It just gets really nerdy, and
Okay.
I just don't care what it looks like, what I'm reading anymore, I guess.
No, I don't blame you. I mean, they're two of my favorites, Call of Cthulhu and Dracula, so.
Yeah. They're great. Love them.
Yeah, but I just don't feel there's something that are in our age group that people expect us to read, as for fun as well. So.
Yeah, I was also reading the Wizard of Oz books in the pandemic, so I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
I was all over the place.
They're on my list. Apparently they're a lot darker than people expect.
Oh, a lot darker.
Yeah.
They're equal parts hysterically funny and like horror fuel. So they're out there.
Yeah, I remember the Wheelers from the second one.
Oh, yeah. The Wheelers aren't actually the scariest thing in the book, to put it that way.
Yeah, I can imagine. So, if I'm right, the budget of Waves of Madness was $20,000?
Yeah, give or take.
Yeah. So, how do you approach the tension between ambition and budget? Where are the moments you had to invent your way around a dead end, sort of thing?
Well, I mean, I guess just the entire thing, really. I mean, the only things that really cost budget, per se, as far as, like, money, it's when you're, like, paying people to be there and, like, paying for props that I physically have to touch and things like that. And I knew that was going to be the case, but I knew I could do whatever I want with the background because it just takes more of my time to create. So it was just kind of trying to limit the things I interacted with so I didn't have to pay for too many things.
Right.
It was always the thing. It's like, do I have to touch that? Because the second I touch that, I have to buy it or make it or etc. So I was like, well, or do I just hold on to something that's green and I'll put in something later that can be much cheaper that I can just build myself on the computer. But yeah, it's just, I mean, there's a way around everything if you think about it long enough. And it's kind of what I really like about my movies and I really have fun with is like the puzzle factor of like, how the hell are we going to do this? And I think a lot of the reason movies have lost magic today is because when you have $400 million, you don't really have those moments anymore of like, oh no, how are we going to do this? You just throw $100 million at it and it happens. And
yeah,
I don't know. The best moments in movies for me are when they didn't have what they needed and they just tried something that was crazy. Like the Indiana Jones moment where he just shoots the guy instead of the 2-minute long sword fight he was supposed to do because he was sick.
Yeah.
It's one of the best moments of the movie, and that never would have happened if they had $400 million.
Yeah.
And that's just what we've run into now is everything's just like, when you have everything, it just kind of becomes soulless. Like the scrappy nature, the creativity just goes out the window.
Yeah, I agree. There's a real charm to it. And it's the same with Terminator. That's not the big budget movie everyone thinks it have been either, is it? There's a lot of
no
low budget puppet work in that, and it's incredible.
Yeah, that's amazing. There's so much more heart in that stuff.
Yeah. Because I like watching the behind the scenes on them sort of films. So obviously when I got my copy of Waves come through, I had to watch the behind the scenes on that. And it's just,
oh, great.
I knew your space was limited, but actually seeing it in the behind the scenes stills and everything, it's really limited.
Oh, yeah.
It's a really tight space you're working in. And then
15 feet.
You bring that mini into it for another shot. And it's like, wow, it's just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
The boats really surprised me as well. I didn't realize you'd actually like built around some of the boat with your own production in post.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's right outside. That was right outside from the garage where we parked the Mini. My buddy had a boat, Michael Lee, and we just walked right over to the boat, shot that, walked back to the garage, did the Mini. That was the American unit because we had to go over there for some actors, and it's just a lot cheaper, again, with the budget. It's a lot cheaper to fly my wife and I over and shoot our scenes with everyone who's there instead of trying to fly everyone here. So we just did that.
Yeah.
And we're like, well, while we're here, easy to get a Mini in a garage, and it's easy to get a boat. We'll take care of those things, and then we'll go back and do the other 80 or 90% of the movie where everyone talks back in Australia.
Yeah. It's really fun to watch that behind-the-scenes stuff, because it just shows what somebody's capable of when they're willing to put time and thought into something, and it really impressed me.
Oh, well, thanks. I mean, I think that's the magic of it. That's the fun of it. So everyone's like, God, what would you do if you had more money, or like, God, this one's going to make you're going to take off, or this, that. I'm like, I don't really want to, and I don't really care, because this is the fun stuff. Like, I've done it the other way, and I've experienced that and worked on those movies where you have everything, and it's joyless. There's no fun, there's no creativity. It's just get it done, go home, don't have fun is the usual mantra. And I'm like, I just don't know if I want to spend my life doing that. Like, money's cool, obviously, but you don't really have any time to spend it because you're working 14 hours a day just staring at a wall while the movie gets made in front of you that you don't even like. So, and I think it was the point where, like, when I was a kid, I thought being a director meant you actually made the movie. But then as I started working on sets, I realized that directing just means you tell a bunch of other people how to make a movie. And once that happened, I was like, wait a second, this isn't what I want to do. I actually like getting in there with my hands and like making the thing. And you can't really do that in the bigger movies. So that's why I really like being where I am, because my job position doesn't exist on big movies, which is guy who makes the movie.
I mean, you're doing everything on
Yeah,
these later ones you've done as well, aren't you, really?
yeah, but it's fun. And, like, you know, you get to have some good friends. Everyone just hangs out and feels like they're in high school again, making movies, and everyone's just having a good time. Like,
Yeah.
And I feel like if we can get, like, it's quite funny when someone will be like, oh man, your movie only got 3 out of 5 stars. I'm like, you kidding? That's great. The fact that I can get 3 out of 5 stars, which is the same rating that these $400 million movies are getting, and I did it like this, like, that's a win.
Yeah. It's like that scene from Iron Man about Tony Stark building that with a bunch of scraps, isn't it, in the cave?
Yep.
I guess it's that sort of accomplishment.
That's exactly it.
Yeah, it's incredible to witness, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't got the skills, but, like, you really make me feel that I could actually just go out tomorrow and make a film and it'd be something decent.
I mean, a lot of people on the internet would also argue I don't have the skills, but that's not stopping me from doing it. You just got to go do it.
I disagree. It's not even just the skills, it's the fact that you've got the work ethic to also put it together, you know? Like, you've actually spent time, wrote about 80, 90 pages for a script, then you've edited that down clearly before you film it because you've really thought about the length of a film that you can make.
Yeah. But that all comes from experience. Like, it didn't just happen because, you know, like one day I was like, oh, I'm a child prodigy or something. Like, you do this for 20 years. You just kind of figure out what you should and shouldn't do. And
yeah,
anyone can do it. You just got to do it, honestly.
Yeah.
You just have to have the courage to do it. That's the main part. If you just, like, you're like, you know what, I'm just going to do it, you're going to walk away with something. But that's the hardest part is, like, you know, jumping off and doing it.
Yeah, and being able to take them negative reviews.
Oh, yeah.
The fact that you can do this and keep going forward when your films do get some pretty horrible feedback from fans online of it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, trust me. But I don't know.
That has to be disheartening as hell, so.
I don't know. At this point, it's pretty funny because you look at what they're saying sometimes, you're like, all right. But it's fun, too, because when they get really upset, they're just pissed off, like, oh, you thought this was actually like a multi-million-dollar movie. Oh, well, that's on you, I guess. But I guess on me for tricking you into thinking that.
Yeah.
So, cool. Magic trick achieved.
Yeah, I don't think people have the right mindset when they look at some films before they go into it.
Also, you have to get to the point, and I always have to remember that I don't like what most people like, especially these days. Like, I've never been in a time with movies where more things have been, like, declared a masterpiece, and, like, I can't even watch 5 minutes of it. So, like, I am very aware that not only do most people not like my movies, I don't like the movies most people like. And
yeah,
once you come to that realization, it's like, yeah, of course a lot of people don't like them, but when they do like them, they really do, and those are my people. We have similar tastes.
Yeah, I think every year there's a new Exorcist film, isn't there?
There has to be.
This is the new Exorcist, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the deal we have with the devil, right? You just have to keep making one once a year, or else he takes over Earth. Like, it feels like there's something like that going on. And Russell Crowe has to be involved.
It seems that way with some questionable accents.
Yeah, oh, I love it. I love when he does an accent. He can't do an accent, and I love it. God bless him, he tries.
Yeah, it's like Sean Connery.
Yeah, and I just love how egotistical he is about his accents. Like, you can tell he's like, I'm killing this. And there's something really fun to watch with that. I love watching Russell Crowe. He's an anomaly.
He is. He's an actor I've never really been able to tolerate much of, though.
No, of course not. But he's so fun to watch because, like, I'm so entertained by him.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Even if I'm really upset, like, I'm very entertained.
Yeah, I remember, I think it was The Pope's Exorcist the other year.
Oh, yeah.
He plays it like it's Godfather, and it feels more physical comedy to me, and it's...
I loved it because I watched that and then walked down the street because he has this new band called Russell Crowe and the Indoor Garden Party. So we watched that movie as to get us warmed up, and then we went and saw him perform live at this, like, college bar. And, you think his movies, oh man, he, like, barely doesn't really even have the stamina to do, like, more than one song in a row, and then he just drinks a bunch of wine and walks off stage for a couple songs, and comes back on and does one again, takes a big old glass of wine and walks off and tells some stories, and it was amazing.
I can imagine.
Yeah, perks of being in Australia, you can walk to that.
Yeah, well, depends how close you are.
Yeah.
It's a big country, isn't it, Australia?
It is.
You need to fly from one end to the other.
Yeah, but he travels. He tours.
So there's some great horror tropes baked into Waves of Madness. Were there any genre cliches you were excited to play with, subvert, or finally use on your own terms?
I mean, it's no secret that I love Resident Evil games, and that sort of, like, squad goes in and gets more than they bargained for, and that's always one of my favorite horror tropes, and it was a lot of fun to finally make one of those. It was fun to make a movie that kind of existed in our reality a little bit, like, not much, but, you know, at least, like, more so than the FP movies, so it was kind of nice to get back into this side of the universe.
Yeah.
That was fun. I like dealing with just, you know, monsters, cult guys, shooting bad guys, you know, that fun stuff. Like, I don't know, I'm not much of a trope subverter, I guess, as far as story is concerned, because
yeah,
I actually really like a tropey story. Like, I don't know, like 1930s pulpy adventure things and like 80s, 90s movies. Like, they weren't subverting expectations per se. They were just doing stuff and having a blast doing it. Now I feel like everyone's so busy with trying to like pull the rug out from under you, and there's nothing to replace it with, that you're just kind of upset because you're like, the whole movie is just about subverting expectations, but there's not actually a good movie there. Yeah, I didn't expect that to happen, but what happened kind of sucked. And that's why, like, I know a lot of people, they, piss and moan and hate the Avatar movies, but I think it was really smart that he has this complicated, crazy world, but a very simple story that you can follow along with. And I think that's why those movies make $3 billion, is because he's telling you the same story, but baked in a really crazy, innovative way with new technology.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I wanted to do with this, was like, I'm not going to like reinvent, the wheel with the story, because what I'm doing is pretty crazy with a side scroller and like the way I'm just visually making this movie. Like, if I was going to make a crazy story on top of that, I think people would just be completely lost.
I think it was it Waves of Madness you said you'd had as an idea since being a child?
Well, yeah, to make a side-scrolling movie. Not this particular movie, but just doing a side-scrolling...
Right, okay. A side-scroller.
...movie in general.
Okay.
Yeah. It wasn't like, I have this idea for a cruise ship.
I was wondering what it was like to say, yeah, I've finally done that, and how has it changed from that core image you had as a child?
Oh, I mean, it's vastly different. When I was a child, I never really thought, I didn't even think it would probably be a horror movie. I had no idea. Like, was I just going to make like a Final Fight or like Streets of Rage movie? I don't know. When I was a kid. But yeah, now making it this way, I was like, that's awesome. That's what it turned into. And I've made enough movies and enough things that have been tooling around for a while. Like, nothing comes out the way you initially think. As far as like the idea just evolves through the creative process, and it's always fun to see where it ends up. Like I said, even when I started doing this, it was going to be like a Metal Slug, like more like 80s action throwback Monster Mash thing, and then it turned into this, and I was like, fascinating.
Is it in the writing process or actually in the filming process, do you sometimes realize that you're going to have to pivot on an idea?
Mostly in the writing process, but I feel like, like they say, you write the movie 3 times, right? Like when you're writing it, when you're shooting it, when you're editing, it's like the 3 drafts of the script. And so, yeah, that happens a lot in writing. A lot of times in shooting, that'll happen because something seems easy enough, or like you can do it, or it's going to work, and then you get there on the day and you're like, you see it in front of you, you're like, this is ridiculous. This isn't going to work. Let's do this instead. And there's those like practical changes that happen on the day, but a lot of things happen in post too, where you're like, God, they could actually just be running from a monster. That'd be a good idea. Like, what if I guess could just throw them a little further. Maybe you get shot. There's like little things you can do when you have this much freedom with everything's in the green screen, which I do like, because since I am in front of the camera, it's kind of like when I'm in post, I get to see everything and be like, okay, so I can also do this and this and this. And so I really enjoy the post process now, because that's where I really get to like bake the movie. Because I feel like writing is like, if you look at it like cooking, writing for me is like just writing down your ingredients list. Your shooting is like kind of like, you're starting to like, you're mixing everything up and you're getting it ready. And then finally in post, you start cooking. That's when everything comes to life. And that's why I think I like post the most at this point, because that's where I get to really make everything happen. And I'm not on anyone else's time.
Yeah.
Because when you're shooting, there's always that stress of like, oh God, we've already been shooting for 6 hours. We're going to get so-and-so home, or like this or that or the other thing. Like, we'll run out of daylight. There's none of that anymore. It's just like, open the computer. It's on me. If I work 10 hours today, I work 10 hours. Fine.
Is there any ideas that you had shot or was going to shoot for Waves and was like, I actually quite like this and I'm going to put it on the back burner for another project?
Oh yeah, there's definitely some things that I copy and pasted and put over to the sequel script. So I was like, it's too much to get into for now. Not that this is going to happen in the sequel, but originally it wasn't a mini, it was a motorcycle.
Okay.
And we're like, we're going to do a motorcycle chase off the boat. This is going to be great. And then we started thinking about practice. Like, no, this is just going to be a pain in the ass. But there will be a motorcycle chase at some point. I thought that would have been pretty cool.
Oh, nice.
Especially on a boat, but, someday. We definitely got some other sort of vehicular things in the sequel coming up that I wanted to try out in this one, but obviously a cruise ship wouldn't allow for. And, there was like certain things where I was like, initially there was going to be a lot of going up and down stairs. And I was like, that's going to be a pain in the ass. Let's do an elevator. Like trying to emulate stairs in this little apartment. Like, not yet. That's too much.
Yeah.
But now there's these new programs that make it so much easier. Because before I'm just working with keying and like Waves of Madness out the green screen and stuff. Now they have like these AI rotoscopers that'll just basically cut you out almost perfectly, no matter what wall you're on.
Okay.
And that's going to change the game on some things, because now I can start going out of the apartment and doing more real world things and not have to do copious amounts of green screen to then insert ourselves into things. And I don't want to ruin what those are, but I have a couple ideas for those that will be fun for you to watch on the making of if it pans out.
All right, nice.
And I wanted to do some kind of stop motion, like, what am I trying to say? Like motion tracking kind of stuff. Monsters that I'm going to play with in the next one.
Okay.
I've got some cool ideas for some things with that I really wanted to get into, but just didn't have the wherewithal in this first one. But Yeah, I've been thinking about it for like a year, so I'm excited for those. Much more of a monster mash than the sequel.
Oh, it sounds great.
Yeah.
When you say motorbike, I imagined Demons. Have you seen Demons by, I think it's Bava?
Oh, God.
It's an 80s horror.
Yeah, I know the movie. I know the poster. I haven't seen it.
Oh, right. There's an amazing motorbike scene in that.
Okay.
Well worth checking out. It's proper 80s cheese.
I'd love to see that.
Great special effects.
I need to check that out. That's been on my list for a while. Because, and there was also, like, every Resident Evil movie, or I guess game, rather, at the end, it's like, oh, we got to escape. The place is going to blow.
Oh, yeah.
I remember there was a minute where I played with, like, jet ski, because I know in Resident Evil 4 there's the jet ski sequence, but then I was like, do the car out, do the boat out, that's fine. Jet skis, that's too much, that's crazy. But those are the things that you go through when you're thinking about it. And sometimes they make it to the paper, sometimes they don't. Like, sometimes I'll write it down, the scene, and it'll be there for like a week, and then I'll come back and be like, oh, come on, what are you doing? This is ridiculous. It's so hard. Why are you doing that to yourself?
Yeah.
And then sometimes those things stay, and you're like, well, I guess we are still doing a mini car chase, so I'm sticking with it. And that was fun because we actually had to measure out, like, which car can we actually fit into a garage this way? And, like, mini was the answer.
Yeah. Is there any scenes where you've felt bad that you've had to cut them then?
Oh, gosh.
Like killing your darlings type moments?
What's that?
The killing your darlings kind of moments, I think they're called, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I kill all those in the writing process, though. I don't think they ever even make it to the set because for me, when people are like, how do you make movies for, no money? It starts in cutting the script down. So many movies, you'll get like a low budget script and it's like 130 pages and you're like, well, step one, if you cut 30 pages out of this, you're going to save 30% of your budget. Like, you need to think that way. So it's like, unless this is absolutely necessary to tell the story, like, there's got to be the conversation of, are you going to waste the man days and the budget shooting it?
Yeah.
So I don't really get deleted scenes anymore. Like, I feel like once in a blue moon, there's something, but I think even on like the FP3 and 4, there were a couple where I was actually cutting out things as we're getting ready to shoot them because I'm like, this is going to take us an extra 2 hours and we just don't need this. Like, I'm seeing it here and it's like, I don't think it's going to work. Let's just not even deal with it.
Yeah.
And like, again, I think that's the thing that comes from experience of doing it enough and editing enough to where you're just like, no, we don't. I understand why I put that in there, but it's just that's not for anyone but myself. So let's get rid of it.
Yeah. I guess that's the power of being writer and director as well. You kind of editing during the process.
You can, but when you're a director who has a writer, then there's the argument of like, what do you mean you're going to cut this scene? And then there's a producer that's like, you sold this script to the studio, so you have to shoot that scene, whether you want to or not. It's a mess.
Yeah.
So I don't have to deal with that. So if I'm like, yeah, it's not going to work, let's just cut it. Moving on.
Yeah. You've also written a fair few films, and I imagine you've got more scripts that you've written that you've never even shot.
Oh, yeah, tons of scripts I haven't shot.
I'm guessing you're pretty lean on your first drafts now.
Oh, yeah, no, it's not a lot of word vomit anymore. There was a time when they were a little bit bigger, but yeah, but I also just don't, maybe it's just my attention span, I don't know at this point. I don't really like long movies.
Yeah.
Most movies I see, I'm always like sitting there and I'm like, God, that could have lost half an hour. That part was just kind of unnecessary. And I feel like with most movies that come out now, it's rare when I get out of a movie, I'm like, wow, everything needed to be there. They're usually movies that are like 90 minutes or an hour and 40 or something. But when you get into those 2 hours, 2.5 hour movies, I'm just like, I don't know. So much like, I just don't care. Oh, God, yes. The love interest story again. We've seen that a billion times. I guess we needed to. They didn't even have charisma, so we just did that for an extra 30 minutes. They didn't have any screen presence together. Sure. I don't know. It's just like, I don't like long movies, so I don't make long movies. I know that upsets some people because I guess some people do like long movies, but I don't know. Especially since I'm the guy that has to watch it like 500 times. I'm like, 70 minutes is better than watching it for 2.5 hours 70 times. It's not practical.
Yeah, I can imagine. So, I had a question off of that. When you're in the writing stage, do you ever think about your camera angles during the writing, or do you figure that out later? Or do you just not bother with notes because you kind of know what you're doing now? Absolutely.
Like, it's kind of half and half. Like, there are scenes when I'm writing it and thinking about the camera angle, and I'll just write that into the script because I know that, like, specifically it has to be that. But I kind of like to do a half and half approach. Like, I'll storyboard some more complicated things sometimes or make a shot list for more complicated things. But a lot of times I like to kind of just get there and see what we have access to, what happened. Well, you watch the blocking and you kind of like, okay, well, this would work better for that moment, or this will, and it's hard to tell that when you don't have all the ingredients on the table. And with Waves, real easy again. It's like, I know it's going to be this one shot. We didn't move the camera the entire shoot. It just went straight where it went, and you just press record and you just shoot, which was great. And then the guy who does the camera angles is me in post when I'm zooming in and out and tracking.
Yeah.
So I got to just like play the game I guess, to play the movie at that point. But yeah, I don't know. I don't like to like marry myself too much to what the angles are going to be early on, unless it's like that's a really cool idea or like that's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's half and half, I'd say.
I know some writers write songs into the scripts. You're not that kind, I don't believe, but
no, I used to when I thought movies like it costs so much money to put songs in movies, like vastly more than the budgets of my movies, that I stopped doing that decades ago.
Yeah.
But I will sometimes. This one actually, Waves of Madness, I did write some songs into the script because they were particular and they were classical and public domain, so I knew I could get them.
Yes. Midnight Sonata is one of them, isn't it?
Correct. Which keys into, obviously with Resident Evil, but
yeah.
It was a shame because the distributor didn't show me the DVD menu before they released the movie. And I was like, guys, that song sets up the sequel, and it's in the credits, and it plays after the sequel, but now you make it seem like it's the movies. Anyway. All right, sure. Fits the vibe. You guys know best.
Because I was going to say, the score and the sound design on this give it a real good haunted arcade feel. So what direction did you give to that side of the world building?
Yeah, I knew what I wanted, which was like this weird 1930s out of time, kind of today, kind of not today. Like, yeah, it's just my version of what a Resident Evil game sounds like from like the PlayStation 1 era. It was kind of my initial vibe throughout. It was all over the place. But what do they call this? There's this new sort of style of music. It's called like doom jazz.
All right.
Something that's like do. It's kind of like it's like survival horror jazzy kind of. Anyway, I kind of caught wind of that at one point. I was like, that's a cool kind of mood, so kind of went with that. And that's for my composer, I kind of gave him some of that, and I was like, all right, doom jazz, go. And then gave him some examples, and here we are.
Oh, I'm going to be checking that out now.
Yeah.
So if someone loved Waves of Madness, what would you say they should watch or play to stay in that vibe?
Oh, what, like just in general, like in real life? Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Watch the Universal Monster movies. Those are always a hoot. Those 4Ks are awesome, and they're also all like 70 minutes, which I love. Play any of the Resident Evil PS1 era games. Those will get you there. Silent Hill 2. I don't know. John Carpenter movies. The Fog. Fog will probably get you there. That was definitely an influence because of the amount of fog. And,
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. These questions from like, I have no idea. Like, I don't know why these things come to me or these ideas. I try to rationalize it in interviews sometimes, but sometimes the reality is things just come to you and you're like, oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
And then I kind of try to track it backwards and like, why did I do that?
Yeah. Have you ever sat and thought about one of your films and all of a sudden just had a weird realization of where the idea actually had its inception moment in your past ever?
Oh, God. I mean, yeah, I'm sure I have. But I feel like I kind of know that from the get-go, but I think there's some movies where you look back at them where, like, the FP movies in particular, where you look back and you're like, that was totally a joke, and I know what I was doing with it at the time. But then you look back at it, and some of those moments are oddly biographical in the scheme of things. It's very funny to see that, and you're like, oh, that did come out that way, didn't it?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's amazing how much people put themselves into their work and don't realize, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Though I realize because, when you're editing the thing over and over and over again, you may get surprised the first time you see it, but then after watching it 100 times, you're like, I absolutely know where that came from.
Yeah.
It's not a secret anymore.
Incredible.
But I'm also pretty observant of myself because I have to be.
That's all the questions I've got.
Oh, wow. Look at you go.
Yeah. I had 10. I cut one because you kind of answered it anyway, so went through 9.
Awesome.
So if there's anything you want to say or plug.
Oh, gosh. Just if you haven't watched Waves of Madness, please, give it a shot. I'll be getting ready to start fundraising for the sequel in about 2 months or so. I got to finish Afar and get that out, and that's going to be a whole process. So once that's done, hopefully in the next month or two, I'm hoping to get that out by September. So we'll see what happens in time for Halloween, and that'll be like a Blu-ray DVD release and then eventually a YouTube release. And yeah, that'll be fun. It's hard to say. I've just keep supporting, keep watching. I'm trying to get my YouTube channel monetized. So if you want to keep just like playing my videos over and over again and get me watch hours, but no one's going to stop you except maybe YouTube.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's all I got. Just thanks for sticking around. Thanks for being here. And thanks to the people like you for finding me and telling people about me, because that's the only way anyone knows what I'm doing.
Okay. Thanks for that. Your links will be found in the episode's description.
Awesome.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Hello, I'm Thomas, the other bro host of this cult film podcast, and I unfortunately missed out on the interview. I'm a big fan of Jason Trost's work, as you may already know, when we covered all his films last year. Right now, I would like to share my review and thoughts of The Waves of Madness, a thrilling side-scrolling Lovecraftian video game-like action horror in which Trost's character, Special Agent LaGrasse, is dispatched to investigate a distress call from a round-the-world cruise, only to find the ship eerily abandoned and haunted by a malevolent force that twists sanity into terror.
Ship appears to be deserted.
I picked up on the Lovecraftian elements instantly from the title alone, and of course I recognised Resident Evil's influence, as it reminded me so much of the first Revelations game, in which Jill Valentine is on a cruise ship and has to, of course, survive a zombie outbreak. As with Trost's other works, I love the low-budget charm, the creativity in how he gets his vision on screen. He definitely reminds me of John Carpenter in his way of making films. There's always a fun energy, whether it's just the premise alone or the characters. The film doesn't take itself too seriously, and I mean that in the best way, as it allows for self-awareness that it seems like parody. It lets the audience feel like they are in on the joke. It knows the plot is rather predictable. It knows it's low budget, just have a laugh, and it's a lot of fun. But even while being able to do that, I can admire how well made it is, especially given the budget. It looks great, and it's made with so much heart and passion that most films are just lacking these days. I highly recommend this film for anyone that loves horror, action, video games, or if you just want to watch something really fun. Thank you for listening, and a special thanks to Jason Trost for giving us his time.
There's an SOS from the Elder of the Sea. If you get this message, don't send help!
It's just me.
And that's now the end of the show. And if you liked what you heard, drop us a rating, a review, or just tell a fellow film fan you can follow everything we do at Resonance Ronin on Instagram and elsewhere. All links are in the episode description. Cynic Critique is part of the Resonance Ronin network, defending the dismissed and unearthing films worth fighting for. And if you like this, remember to tune in next week for some great sci-fi, as we are getting stranded with Ellipse and The Martian. Thank you, and goodbye.
We gotta get the hell out of here.